Welcome back to the film room, and let me tell you something, guys. We have some very, very good stuff with you this week. And again, so you have Ohio State traveling on the road to Penn State, a place where it's historically really, really difficult to win. And Penn State, look at the score. Late in the fourth quarter, maybe not late, 9.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and all of a sudden Penn State finds themselves up by 5 with a lot of momentum in this game. And we don't have the sound for you, but I can tell you in this moment, the Penn State crowd is rocking. Well, what does a great team do when they're challenged? They actually elevate their game, right? It's very, very rare. You're gonna see on this specific drive with their backs against the wall, facing some adversity, C.J. Stroud and the Ohio State offense elevated their game to a level that they hadn't even been playing at this point throughout the entire 60 minutes. First play we have right here is just, this is phenomenal stuff. It's called dagger concept. Why is it a dagger concept? Well, the D stands for a deep dig by Marvin Harrison Jr. You may have heard of him. He's a very good receiver. Well, how do you get that deep dig open versus zone coverage too high? All right, well, this inside guy is going to run a deep crosser. This deep crosser is going to occupy some of the underneath defenders in the backside safety. What's the slot guy have? He just has to run vertical. You're not getting the ball. We call it for the love of the game, okay? That's going to take this safety out of there. Well, how do you affect this zone defender? Because that ball by C.J. Stroud has to be thrown 20 yards on the hash. This guy's standing right on the hash. He's going to be in your throwing lane. Cade Stover's going to run a shallow route, and you're going to barely see it at the end of the screen. As this guy drops down, he's going to see Stover wide open. He's going to trigger down, and that's going to open this pocket for C.J. Stroud to do the rest. So let's watch this unfold right here. Here comes the shallow. And you're going to see it. This guy says, Cade Stover's wide open. I got a trigger on it. This guy dropping underneath the deep crosser. This guy also dropping underneath the deep crosser. Remember I said 20 yards on the hash, right? Here's your vertical route to occupy the safety. The ball was on the 25-yard line. 5, 10, 15, 20 yards on the hash. It's couldn't be a more perfect throw. Bang, right on the face mask of Marvin Harrison Jr. Look at that pocket he has to throw in between these defenders. It's about as perfect as you can run that play. And again, in a huge moment with their backs against the wall. Okay, you did it once, can you do it again? Very next play, Penn State's having some trouble getting lined up. They're shifting their linebackers. They're gonna put a smaller body over here on Ibuka, the receiver. What's so great about these Ohio State receivers is a good receiver, everything is a vertical route. Everything is a go route until it isn't. And look at the acceleration off the ball. And watch how this affects this Penn State defender. Ibuka, everything tells you right here as a defender, this guy's gonna beat me down the seam, and you can see a little bit of panic set in. I have to turn and run with him, okay? It's vertical until it isn't. Look at him drop the weight. C.J. Stroud loaded, ready to throw the ball right now, in complete harmony with his receiver. Very next play, extremely accurate. I mean, that's wide open in the game of football. All of a sudden, that Penn State crowd is getting a little quieter when they were just in the most hectic part of this game. And then this one, you know, I'm a tight end. I got so much love for when the tight ends execute things at a high level. I want you to notice something. Penn State has 7 guys in the box, 4 linemen and 3 linebacker elements. Ohio State only has 5 linemen and 1 tight end, so 6 versus 7. How do you block it? So the whole O-line is going to push vertical right here. These 5 have these 5. And then Stover, he's got to do something called taking 2. How do you take 2? Well, you got to get a healthy chunk of this down lineman, a healthy chunk. And then as you see the running back get vertical inside of you, then you can climb to the secondary element. But the timing in the healthy chunk all have to work in unison. Right there, bang, right through the left center, not just the shoulder, the left center of the down lineman, a healthy chunk, stop his momentum. And then as you feel the running back start to climb in the hole, you can seal that secondary element. And that's what happens for Travion Henderson. He's just up through there, completely untouched. Again, a massive moment in a massive part of the game. We're gonna skip through this to the backside of this angle because this is the very next possession, and Ohio State is looking to really take command of the big moment. Now, this guy had a career day. He was one of the national defensive players of the entire, across all of college football, not just the Big Ten, JT Tuimoloau. And you know, he had some interceptions, he did some nice things, but here he is in a pass rush situation. This is a nightmare scenario as a tackle when you got a guy untouched off the edge. I mean, this isn't anything more than a bull rush, but look at the leverage. Right now, his hand is underneath the armpit of the tackle. And what happens is if you can have a strong inside hand in drive, that's gonna lift the entire tackle's body up. And you're gonna see how that affects him. Look at the strength to turn that into a bull, gets him completely turned around, and then doesn't just finish with the sack, strips it and recovers his own fumble. Once again, before that previous drive, Penn State has all the momentum. Ohio State answers, and then they answer again defensively, and then really, this is the icing on the cake right here, and it's just what Ohio State does so well, which is scheme their guys open. Give them a chance to get C.J. Stroud easy completions. We know he can do the hard completions. He's got that talent, but then you scheme some easier completions, and it finishes the game. This is called why hide. We saw Cade Stover last play when he broke Travion Henderson the open for the run. Starts here, and it looks like he's blocking, right? He's involved in the pass protection. One of these guys is responsible for Stover man-to-man, but they're sitting there saying, oh, this guy is in protection. I don't have to worry about him. Why leak? Why hide? Right out in the flat. C.J. Stroud loves it, hits it to him, and then his big tight end does the rest. Breaks 1 tackle, 2 tackles, 3 tackles, and gets in for the end zone, gets in for the touchdown. At this point, in a matter, I want you to notice something here. Clock, 8:17 left in the fourth. When we started this video, in game time, there was 9.5 minutes left in the fourth. So in about a minute of real time, Penn State goes from being in complete command of this game to Ohio State taking back some of that momentum and then going on the offense in terms of momentum. Now Ohio State's in complete control of this game with about 8 minutes left to go. And that's what makes them such an elite team, is when their back's against the wall, when they're facing adversity, they're able to elevate their game on both sides of the ball. And they do it with a number of different guys in big moments. They're so fun to watch them, and it's so impressive that they were able to do that in a hostile environment on the road at Penn State. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.